Yes, so I will make online and sound as well. Okay, well, we are here together around something that you will solve the so we want to create a presenter that you're in it's the presentation and the different challenges and experience with the different of the people. And after that, I really want my skills to go into the and if I ever speak well, then we can enter your questions in the chat so we will address them after the three presentations. So that's going. The first section is on assessment or impact assessment in a blend reading, science program. And I'd like to introduce to you the presenters, of course, Dr. and C. And you will both present the paper, that she's a senior scientist. So I'd like to give this over to you. Thank you so much. I would still be as negative. It's less than something there. You can still stay as people. And I'm hoping maybe you that's about more interesting. Please come. People can sit on the floor exactly, please. Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So yeah, as Ingo was saying, my name is project politics. And it's good to see many of you here.
I hope you're not here because the climate session is because we really have really important things to share with you. And together with Carmen, who's here, we're part of a task force within the Reading for Tomorrow Science program, which used to be called Genetic Innovations. And we're here to talk about science. I'm here to talk about mediated and holistic impact assessment within the reading. And we're very excited about that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we can actually arrive where we are at this point, about the coordination. But also going to talk a little bit more about the technicalities of our research design. At this stage, these are just events that are out there. We have started writing proposals, etc. And implementation is going to start soon. Yeah, it's already the first slide.
And I think it's really important to make that and I think I'm going to
nutrition, environment, and that's a problem, right? Because as he also was mentioning, it's only because of that knowledge information that design better eventually across the category. So in terms of when we talk about reading in advanced plant genetics, etc., what we see is usually that decisions are basically made on data that is collected from field trials. These are very highly experimental research activities where you basically have a variety, you have a check variety, which basically focus on and that is my varieties are very and then it's usually coming that's some sort of example modeling when they look like the projected benefits of if you work to these varieties, what's economic welfare gains we expect. So of course, this is models that have a lot of assumptions. So they are very much limited. So here we would really like to go beyond that paradigm of focusing on activities using experiment stations and also go beyond the function. That's another very usually that's what we see in the literature oftentimes, and many stakeholders in general in the development sector, they are very satisfied with the doctrine we reach and just the number of people can start ticking boxes. But do we actually know life changes based on that? So again, it's really important to introduction. Yeah, why not skip to the next? Yes, let's go. So obviously we are part of the reading about science program, which is a really big science program that has many different areas of work. And this is just now that we have started to think about holistic impact assessment that allows us to make an assessment, basically looking at the entire theory of change or the pipeline of this science program. Starting with market intelligence, thinking about what are really good varieties, going to the gene banks and the breeders, and then all the way to the seed system. Right. Next slide. So have developed some research questions, and obviously it's just a reflection of what I just mentioned. We really would like to focus on our impacts in the 5 impact areas that you can see here on the right. And we're really interested in replacing farmers, the effect of replacing farmers regular seeds with fresh seeds, and then providing varieties with seeds. Let me start. that we were discussing this. Each of the five beyond the for farmers, smallholder farmers, of replacing farmers, regular seeds with fresh seed of improved varieties. So that's really seed perspective, providing improved varieties through seed systems intervention, and that's really providing new genetics, right? Not a seeds perspective, but the variety perspective. And then, of course, we're interested in the aspect of it as well. And what is the most effective way of how we actually start developing these approaches? What's really important to us, and this is a learned study, so the primary that's our focus. Confidentiality, people are starting to point fingers. And again, here is the acknowledgement that this really has a direct link with the areas we work within, looking at studies. This is, I think, one of my most important slides, because this is really one of the, what we're trying to achieve is really more than the traditional impact assessment. It speaks very nicely to our session title as well. We really try to come up with an inclusive and coordinated approach to designing impact assessment. So what does that mean? That means that while we have been doing this for the past 2 years or so, we have really consulted not only agricultural economists or economists, but we've also gone to consulting breeders, seed system specialists, agronomists, etc. So we really wanted to go into the CGIAR and to really speak with as many specialists as possible. And this is a really coordinated approach, and that is really great. So we have been really speaking with many people and provided technical backstory here as well to the different teams. And I can tell you already that because of this interaction, all of the research design that we want to talk about also, it has been improved. It's really a fantastic way of going forward. We have been building community, right? That's really important for impact assessment specialists across the CGIAR. And I think that that's really one of the points. I think it's really cutting research activity that is doing the CGIAR. And I think in particular these days when you look around, like a rare activity. So I think we're really proud of what we have established so far. And this includes the also allows us to be kind of independent, right? This provides us an opportunity to review one another's work and to come up with something that is really good. So, and it's really cross-cutting, cross-cutting, and it's also cutting-edge research, because we're here thinking about pooling the data and the different individual impact assessments and doing some meta-analysis. So why is this relevant? I mean, first of all, you can think about the individual studies of, your usual 2,000 households or 3,000 households. But if you now started to pool all of these, you suddenly arrive at 10, 15,000, and that increases your position of the receipts. And we also are able to answer questions that cannot be answered with the individual studies, right? So think about the heterogeneity and the factors that suddenly start to emerge. For example, we are very much interested in seed systems functioning, right? And it could be very well the case that in different countries, suddenly the seed system is functioning very differently. And we are now starting to pick up on these factors that are actually cross country. Next slide, please. One more, please. Thank you. So this is just to note how we have going about this. And it suffices to say here that we have been engaging a lot during the past 2 years, that we have created a task force, that we have invited some 30 plus studies and ideas across the CGIAR on crops and countries in all of the regions, and that we have boiled that down to basically 8 proposals that were then submitted to us. And we had an independent evaluation reviewing all of that, following some certain criteria, coming basically now down to some 4 studies that we are starting to roll out and to repeat. Next slide, please. And this is the first cohort of studies that are being selected for the portfolio. You can see here there is one in India that there is leading community stress tolerant rice. and financial literacy for resilience. In Kenya, we have actually two. One is led by Senate, which is the fall army-worm resistant maize, leveraging agro-dealers and trial packs. And we have one led by SIP on late-life resistant potatoes with credit and ethical cuttings to boost access. And then we have one in Malawi led by IFRI, biofortified orange maize, vitamin A rich, drought tolerant, safe food seed savings. And I'm going to hand over now to Robert to explain in more detail what all of these mean, starting with our research design.
Thank you, Marcel. Yeah, so here you see the design that is common across all of these studies. So they all are essentially implementing a randomized trial across the randomized trial that has the same setup. So all of these studies are starting with a set of villagers. In some cases, it's at a higher level at the agro-dealer or the market level, depending on the intervention that they're implementing. And these villages are then randomly assigned into 3 or 4 treatment arms. The first one is a control group where there's no intervention, just data collection, so business as usual. Then we have an optional treatment arm that some studies are implementing where they're providing seed replacement to farmers with a common variety. And we have that treatment arm, especially in studies where seed quality is a main concern, where just having fresh seed might have a large impact on various areas. Then we have the main treatment arm that all studies are implementing to look at what are the impacts of seed replacement, where we're actually replacing farmers' current seeds with seeds, fresh seeds of an improved variety. And so that's the fall army-worm resistant variety in the maize study in Kenya, or the biofortified maize variety in the case of Malawi, or the late-life resistant variety in the case of the potato study in Kenya, or the more stress-tolerant rice variety in the case of the India study. So the idea is that farmer seeds, they would be provided with fresh seed of that improved variety, so that the comparison of the control and this treatment arm would over time tell us something of what is the impact of both the genetic innovation and having quality seed on impacts beyond productivity. So really looking at impacts in the 5 CGIAR impact areas. So that's our first treatment. But then we have a second treatment where we're saying seed systems development is probably the more realistic way in which the CGIAR is bringing new seeds to farmers with its partners. And so in that treatment arm, a seed systems development intervention is going to be accompanied with the provision of an improved variety through that existing seed system intervention. So that's in a nutshell the design. So we have these 3 or 4 treatment arms, and I'm saying 3 or 4 because the seed replacement with common variety is an optional arm for teams. So what this design allows us to evaluate is the impacts of CGIAR varieties, if we provide a new seed of those varieties beyond productivity.
So, for instance, an impact on nutrition. In case of also social and gender equity, and environmental health. Some of these are transition varieties whereby we're expecting in societies within lower requirements of high exercise, which language actually has also environmental and human contact. Those are some of the things that we're looking at.
And then we're also looking at, if you're just providing fresh seed of varieties, we see that as sort of these are the maximum impacts that we can possibly observe because adoption is going to be a natural economy. If you're providing farmers with seeds of new varieties, the seed is provided free of charge. We're trying to remove any transaction costs for them and any barriers for them to be using these seeds. We would expect pretty close to full adoption or use of the seeds. But that's not realistic because that's not a scalable intervention and not something we want to consider even doing scaling. And so that's where that seed systems arm is coming in. Testing in the way that CGIAR with its partners will deliver genetic gains into farmer fields, what would then be the impacts? So that's something we're able to evaluate. What we're not going to be able to evaluate, and what we had hoped to be able to evaluate, but funding constraints prevented from doing so. Some of the social science teams and centers with selected studies, their social science budgets were hit quite hard. And so that has actually impacted some of these studies quite a bit. So we had to take out treatment arms that we initially had in there, where we would be able to isolate the effect of just seed systems interventions versus providing seed systems interventions combined with the genetic innovation. So we had to take that out, which means that we are not able to identify the impacts of seed systems development on its own and the synergies that it has once you combine that with genetic innovation. So that's one. Another one is that we're looking at either demand side or supply side systems, seed systems interventions, and we're not separately identifying the impacts of what happens if you work on the demand side, what happens if you work on the supply side versus what happens if you address both the demand and the supply side at the same time. Again, because of funding constraints, we had to take those types of research questions out. Next slide, please. So here are a little bit more technical details on methods for meta-analysis. And given that the slide is quite small and this is quite technical and we have people in the room who might not even be able to see the slide, let me just summarize this as intuitive as possible. So a big question is, how do we get the increased statistical power from pooling the data, and how do we get to a sort of estimate of the treatment effect? What we're not going to do is to simply take the average effect size that each study team is estimating individually. We're actually going to be benefiting from having the underlying data from each of the study, the micro data, not just the effect size. And that's what we're going to be using in our meta-analysis. Now, we also want to assume that the effect size is going to be similar in each of the studies. So perhaps in India, there is a different true underlying effect size compared to what the potato study in Kenya might be finding. So we're also going to take that into consideration. And what we're going to assume is that there is a true underlying need for a distribution of effect sizes. And that distribution of effect sizes we're going to try and estimate. So that's a little bit on sort of the methods and how we're going to put the data. And that's the heterogeneity in treatment effects that we're estimating is actually going to be of particular interest because we're so interested in the external validity and in what works in which settings. And so that's a bit more on how we go about the meta-analysis. Next slide, and then next slide. Okay, so what are we planning to do with this? We hope to create very powerful research outputs that enable decision makers and the CGIAR in planned breeding, hopefully also in the future, moving beyond planned breeding if people from other centers where there's no planned breeding are interested in coming on board, to provide really powerful evidence that they can take to donors and using their resource mobilization to say, hey, here's, a high quality study, very rigorous evidence of the impacts that we are achieving with our genetic innovations. An example of a meta-analysis that has been very successful in doing so was actually commissioned by BRAC, which is a microfinance type organization. They have really been able to use this type of research to mobilize resources for the graduation programs, for programs that will provide cash transfers, plus mentoring, plus large asset transfers to targeting the ultra poor to lift them out of poverty. And a study by researchers from, among others, MIT was working across 6 countries with BRAC to do these types of trials, coordinated trials in each of the 6 countries. And they found very strong, positive, transformative impacts of these graduation programs. And BRAC took that to, as a really key output in their resource mobilization and have been really effective in doing so. And so that's the type of output that potentially we'd be able to generate, of course, depending on what the impacts actually end up being, and how strong the impacts of genetic innovation turn out to be. But so that's a planned output here, and what we think could be very valuable evidence. Next slide, please. So here's a roadmap to 2030. So now we have rolled out 4 studies. We've also started working on systematic review of existing studies that already have done impact assessments of genetic innovations, mainly to synthesize the existing evidence and also to identify blind spots. The mission is to roll out a second cohort of studies. How and when is a little bit of question, of course, given the current funding landscape, but that's definitely something that we're working towards. And then the idea would be that before the end of the first really for our business cycle, so before 2030, that we have a set of rigorous studies and also a meta-analysis that can be used in promoting this work moving forward. So then I have 2 more slides and then I'll just very quick. The next one is showing blind spots in impact areas based on initial work that we've done. We actually see that very few studies move beyond adoption, even fewer move beyond productivity, gender equity, social inclusion, and environmental health. We never found any studies that really looked at impacts in that area. And the next slide is showing that a big gap is also in terms of methods. Most studies are based on observational methods, which is really showing that this type of work is much needed moving forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Marcel. Or lecture on how to randomize trial. I would like to remind you again, I have questions, please don't put down because we come back to the questions in the 3 presentations. So I would like to go to a even more complex assessment of food systems. And I would like to introduce you Dr. Prima Menon. She is Senior Director of IFPRI, and she was also heavily involved in CAFSA. Well, I think you will explain yourself a little bit in this initiative. They did an assessment of local food systems. I think to identify entry points for innovation.
Thanks. Thanks again. If I could have my slides, please. Thanks everyone for joining us today. I'm really happy to be able to present this on behalf of a truly transdisciplinary team that cuts across the food system and team composition itself. Just as if we can just go to the next slide. Just by way of why we as a team decided it was important to try and invest in understanding the local food system as it stood was, we were tasked with designing a body of work that looked at the entire food system and opportunities for transformation in different parts of South Asia. And as we sat around the table, we realized that we were a set of people really coming from very different disciplines. They were agronomists, hydrologists, gender specialists, economists, nutritionists. And when you said the word food system, it was truly like the blind man and the elephant. Each person only saw one kind of food system, and we were really intending to work in the same geographies. And so we decided it was important that if we were going to enter the space to offer comprehensive solutions, we actually needed to understand how to see and identify the problem collectively. And so our goal was really to build an approach to collect data to help understand different parts of the food system and the intersections thereof. To showcase these methods and modules, bring a strong gender disaggregation lens to it as well. And then to be able to link some of the analyses of this data to understand relationships across the food system and different components of it, including production systems, markets, diets, the environment, as well as the social environment in which this transformation needed to occur. Next slide, please. And so the first thing we had to agree upon was, well, how do we think we should view this world itself? Luckily for us, a set of global experts have done some work on visualizing or sort of thinking about the whole food system. And welcome, Patrick, because you've been very much involved in that high-level panel of experts. And so our group decided to come together, anchor our measurement innovation work in the context of this high-level number of experts framework, and involved in a very robust and sort of integrated and intense design period, which included joint field visits, joint workshops, discussions with local counterparts, prioritizing measurement efforts to build out this approach. Next slide, please. We took 9 months as part of our design process. Because I mentioned, it required a lot of coming together. It required understanding how different components of that food systems framework had been measured by others in the field, and really thinking through whether and how we would bring all of this together in a survey or a data collection approach where we did not want to spend more than 90 minutes with any individual that the survey team would get chatted with. We had a very hard goal of the time that we were willing to subject people to. And so it was really a survey-based approach. It's done as a panel survey, which means we'll be able to go back to these locations over and over again. It was a representative sample of all rural households and markets in the areas that we worked in. And the way in which we approach the multifaceted nature of this, it was also sort of future-facing, which is we started with households that had young people in there. And so we sampled households with adolescents in these areas. And we really intended this as a pilot assessment. So learning from the process of doing it is as much a goal as learning from the data that came out of this. So it was done in 3 countries, 5 districts total. The data were collected in 2023, sort of early mid-2023, 2 districts in North Bangladesh, 2 in Nepal, 1 in India. And we actually also made some other important decisions. We didn't want to sit on the data. We decided we were going to release first work on cleaning up our data sets and releasing the data sets to public domain, even before we ourselves began writing papers and generating findings. Because again, really our goal was to get the data out within this framework. And so within 9 months of the data collection, we were actually able to release all of the data sets to public domain as well. They've been downloaded by over 8,000 users, and we'll be surveying them to know how they've been using it. Next slide. So what I'm going to do is just present you with a few snapshots of the kinds of findings we've seen. We decided to take a plate to farm approach rather than production to consumption approach. We thought by starting with what people are eating, understanding where their food comes from, what that looks like within their households, what it looks like in markets and production systems, we'd have a chance to really change the ways in which we look at this. So what we find in the, can you just maybe go one slide back? Just went up, next slide is fine. We use the Global Diet Quality Score application to collect the data. It's a somewhat of a leaner process to collecting the data than doing a full-scale multi-pass weight 24-hour dietary recall. And we're able to use that to compute what are called the GDQS scores and the risks of both of the nutrient deficiencies and non-communicable diseases. We're able to do that for adolescents and adults. And what you see in our findings, can you just click it one more time? Yes. What you see first in the diet quality scores is that we have GDQS plus is your healthy diet score. We find a fairly low consumption of healthy foods in our samples, and a fairly high risk of nutrient inadequacy and NCDs, again, across the samples, so whether you're looking at adolescents or adults, really very few people in our samples who are at low risk of either having an inadequate diet or being influenced by NCDs. And we have several other features of the diets as well that one has an opportunity to see in the data set that allow us to think about entry points for action. So if I can have the next slide. So as an example, one of the things we did was we pre-programmed the data collection tool to be able to understand when and how people eat, because in behavior change efforts that focus on reshaping diets, you have to understand how people eat, to understand what those entry points are. So as an example, this is what we found from Nepal, that across the board, there's quite a lot of skipping of that morning meal, with a lot more people eating full meals between lunch and dinner. afternoon snacking was common. So there's some entry points here, perhaps in terms of understanding why, and then doing some behavior change work or other work around this. Next slide. So, sure.
And difficulty with seeing this right. Then
If neither works, then let's see if it goes.
just to make see whether we can
No problem. Is it better now? I hope so. All right. The other opportunity we had with the wind.
The data that it must have stand on like but we like to have that people they don't need if it's hard to talk to them about diet. And so that's what I'm trying to do something something called diet method. So we apply something that on the types of stuff you do on the diet. Maybe they have a sense of the not only in the sense of the types of the main things and the next one. It doesn't do it on applications. It's like actually that's a problem for snacking options. And so when we share that it changes, but maybe there is some more attention from the help for this science by that they choose during their snacking occasions. So that's really what we and our market for sense of the market and then something of the market in this area. So understand what it means for the market. Not only that, but so what we find that so that's the retailer that are very prominent in market segments. You know, there was those markets are very and you also the things that people are engaging just actually with those people purchasing them in their areas. People can understand the what's implementing the solutions from there that both retailers and consumers have to work with it. Next slide. So that's one agenda. Next slide report. There's a lot of work that has been done on understanding the agenda and the culture in many different ways, including understanding the environment, how we allow them to share and we actually the knowledge of the space and the serving potential with the problem in the ways. What we did was we wanted to capture the different layers that we can identify, what we can labor, then also we that something that they can find is fine so they want to that allows you to measure the way the purpose can be people and we done with them. And so now one of the work is that I can measure 24 tasks instantly without the master. One is to identify at the task and whether it's done by other people, it was linked to the hospital process, and so they allowed us to establish whether the task is done in language or whether it's done by senior whether it's also understand about the gender dynamics. But what we were used about was the design something that takes only 5 minutes to very much so what you have in that slide all of the next to that's the data that We also have findings in the household and the area governments they understand the past and down and give them for what the dynamics there. And we find that the effect of the agriculture of the data across the land, they will have more findings for the market, we will also have the more like and that was quite a lot of their job growth as well. But with randomized, but also I'm surprised that it's fine basis that as soon as we started to look at the dynamics, but then also the member and that's why the challenge and the agricultural side of things, they were challenging the of that related to the what sorts of things and some enterprise or dialogue. Next slide. All right, so the last is how we look at time. So the mental we have survey that's on planning for this one, how management affect of these communities and how they focus on those management. And so we designed the module to understand this and to understand that those frequently recorded shots so that we can calculate impacts as a kind of the global economy. And these impacts in the context of was it plays out different settings, but quite some consequences. And we looked at a series of consequences: loss of livelihood, loss of income, and inability to sort of show off their resources and then also some coping strategies. So we really took the approach of measuring understanding both the impact of these shocks in countries, not just what happened, but also what the shock was in countries. So the market value becomes shocks, but it also highlights the both countries and mostly as a result of the interestingly, we found that on the developing side, and I don't know if that's the slide here, fundings might have a lot of social safety. People, and this is in the region by social safety, I was like, so that architecture is very strong in South Asian countries. So much less reliant on safe insurance-based strategies. Almost done. Next slide, please. All right, so this is my second last slide to say, we learned from this important ambitious multi-transdisciplinary product project, but really wanted it to be impact and use focus from the very beginning. And so I think about three ways of using data around this. So the first was doing like insights and working down there with three different ways. So first was our research team around papers without paper use. For each mistake that provided a snapshot of problems across the school system, we did that was how in data within about 9 months of the data from analysis. It's a massive team effort with the setup of the data pipeline. We have research collaborations underway to make policies and planning sites and relationships across those that purpose is currently continuing. And we released the data to public again very, very quickly to be able to crowdsource different insights and we can implement on. Currently, we're also thinking about pathways to impact. So the first was the results were presented early and with district officials and non-village in their employment. The idea was not just to identify the actions that they could take and help them understand the systems, but also to understand how to locking the block by in India, at least we could identify problems and one of the next steps on the potential That's Thanks for being in. Just to remind you that we have questions. Don't have to use it. That's really going to be and so hopefully they will get questions. So we will take up in the third presentation. It's not really the one is here time. It's free. People will be very indicators so yeah, the floor is yours, but it's in the I will try to make that topic. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's start with the question. Immediately, trying to assess science. It's an important leap from science and better than interpretation is a very important process. And one thing is so the first point there is that the picture public security is one of the private factors in the we also know that the leading points of communication that includes implementation becomes and then we're looking at when you say agriculture food systems it's the bottom line is that what about right? That's what I can be talking again. As you know, and it's gained a lot of knowledge of the last and how the and it's strongly indicated how the development so that's why people have and so what we have something but it's actually happening with plants not getting some kind of all efficiency where how and the division environment is actually what drives the outcome of and something is that's all but some of the division environment is the show that diet next slide. So diets are really important. Energy and put CGIAR on that in some confidence with people. And at the same time, what people need that will be production. That's what is wrong with our guys? It's not right here. We need to get huge energy from state. We don't provide
reference and so what is about what is the benefit that I need to functioning and it's a balance of how do you go imagine that it's it's such a power was about the same. So the goals never the qualities for the names of its but that's market so yeah the communication of concept measures can be developed and they are I probably make something because they are and what I'm trying to do in both countries is the same thing and we also want to understand that actually each or quality so we started with that we're looking at so let's start with the different things based on the mechanisms and migrating that is not the case with the other things that you so this is a bit complicated. So and what's important here and what's surprising is that I think that the rest of these efficiencies so it's yeah. The city making decide a lot that it's not the table that we need and design, right? But for the thousand pieces of data and the other city, 60% the like they're on the right is the then it's like it makes it matter.
but on the right again, contribution directly. The first panel shows again all the with them. Next time. So the thing the balance of the methods are knowledge of what you see. Yeah. Again, if that is adequate, one year to 10% zero. So what we see is the balance of these elements that you have in it is getting to this small that with the first growth of this graph, it's an extent of anything that we from and it's not lower than it's around so you can see it with the progress. Next slide. So the left part of this slide is already this is for Accra and added Vietnam, and the conclusions are similar. The diets are adequate. About 1/4 of energy comes required, and more direct engagement with the environment. Next slide. So a few implications. First of all, careful assessment of dietary intake yields valuable insights. That's an important lesson here. And then we need to obviously start thinking about some interventions that are needed to change the health use of the diet. And you can think of those both on the supply and the demand side. On the supply side, more strict regulation of the environments, providing healthy and affordable school lunch programs help as well. And then on the demand side, digital marketing is an important new kind of source of information for adolescents on what to eat. So restrictions there would be good as well. Setting up programs that engage schools and parents and adolescents, kind of push them in the direction of healthier eating and information campaigns. There is more obviously that could be done, but these are just across. And I think that's the last slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you a lot, Jeff, also for staying at the good time. Time has come for questions. I'd like to go around and assemble 3 or 4 questions and then go to the answering. So please raise your hands when you have questions, and also Amanda, if there are questions online, please raise your hand as well. Introduce yourself shortly, your name and affiliation. So who has questions? Please raise your hands. Yes, go ahead. Please try to speak in the mic.
Yeah, hi, I'm Karen Marshall from UBI, and I'm also currently the Deputy Director of the Sustainable Animal Products Foods. Yeah. So I liked how you had like a very nice research design of controls and the 2, possibly 3 levels. But I'm also thinking about like, there's so many questions around using innovation in packages. So I'm from the livestock side, and we don't have single innovations. We have so much bundles like health, food, and genetics come together for activity, then we need markets to support that. So are you like just wondering how you thought about expanding that to all these complementary innovations that might look at that? Yeah, just because we're struggling, because then you could get to so many options. And secondly, in all of this, are you also looking at adoption, non-adoption, disadoption, everything like that? Like, what is driving that behavior change to uptake and increasing CGIAR?
Thanks. More questions in the room? Are there questions in the chat, Amanda? Questions in the chat? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Alan Duncan from Yori University. Thank you for your presentations. It seemed like a lot of the impact evaluation going on in the CG is being done by the CG. Because of the kind of strong link between positive outcomes and funding, I wonder if there's scope for bringing in independent evaluations. I know there's the sphere and that method, but is there a scope for opening the kind of impact evaluation to independent evaluation?
Thank you. One more question, and then go back to presenters. Back. No more, then I will go to 1. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to know if studies are being done on the quality, the safety of the food, like issues of aflatoxin, what they see in AIDS. So are there plans for such studies? Because this also affects the stunting, it affects the growth of the children and the brain development.
Thank you. Let's go back to the first question. So packages of innovation. Jeff, first. Innovations. Huh? Oh, yeah. I think that was on the impact assessments of genetic innovation. So we can't experiment with everything in one trial, and we're trying, to get a coordinated design across now 4 studies, but hopefully bringing in more studies as we go. And because of that, we said, okay, what is the minimum viable design that will tell us something about the impact? Now, these are learning opportunities, and from the heterogeneity in findings across studies, hopefully we can say something about complementarities between the genetic innovation, certain components in the seed system, doing more mechanism analysis, rather than just only comparing, across treatment arms, that we really use the data also for the types of questions that you're asking, including adoption as well, and understanding where is this adoption coming from if we observe that, and what is driving behavioral change. The main objective of the studies is really to provide rigorous evidence of impacts, because that's where we see a big blind spot. There's a lot of research going on around understanding adoption, and come to a session Friday morning, 8 a.m. with market intelligence. I'll be sharing more work and what we're doing in that space. But yeah, the main objective here is impact because we really see a blind spot in the evidence. And I think for the second question, I'll turn it over to Marcel.
Yeah, thank you. Just maybe to complement what Trevor said on that. Yeah, you're right about the bundles. I think that's really important. For our exercise, I think we do that to some extent from interventions, but also in the science program, now speaking, bearing my hand as a proposal gaming for impact science program. There we also it's clearly the direction that we're taking. And we haven't, figured it all out how we actually try to do different things. Sometimes like the effect of different components within the bundle and moving forward. But in particular, for example, in scaling, think about scaling partners, how we basically evaluate, for example, cost effectiveness, etc. Adoption and disadoption, I think that's also a very important question. Clearly, we do our analysis all the time, so we will be able to hopefully pick up then some disadoption as well and see then the effects of that. Maybe some other qualitative methods will also come in. Those. On your question on independent evaluation, I think that's yeah, I mean, that's always been, can we outsource it, right? Yes, we can, but will it lead to better evidence? Possibly not. Right? I think the big reason is, first of all, what speaks for independent evaluation is, as the name says, it is independent, it has credibility, right? We are teaming up usually with also independent evaluation, and it could be, universities, mainly universities, but it will not lead necessarily to better evidence, because usually what is needed is the knowledge within to actually start integrating one of the mind. You need, the CG. Right? So I'm absolutely thinking possibly more hybrid. Probably best way to go. It's not one side.
I'll quickly respond to the aflatoxin question, but on the packages, on the nutrition side, the impact evaluation world, we get that question often as well. And it's interesting that at some point there's enough evidence that you say we should just offer A and B, offering them combined will create synergies. And then you do that, you evaluate that, you find the impact, and you say, yeah, but there's an A or B that had the impact. It's like, you just told me that we needed to do both. So, are we going back to where we were? And so it's a bit of circular thinking, which is hard to break down, I think. On aflatoxin, we don't work on aflatoxin within DPN. I agree it's a very important issue, but my reading and understanding of the literature is that I'm much more concerned about it for the cause of cancer. The evidence is crystal clear, and it's something we need to read from food as quickly as we can. For stunting, I think the patient is a bit more shaky, but I think we don't need more evidence of stunting. We need to just act on the evidence we have, which is sufficient to kind of remove it from food supplies. So that's my quick thought. Happy to follow up after.
It was also
Not a food safety expert, let that be clear. But assessing when you go to outlets, you can assess many different attributes, their price, like, and so on. The safety is not visible and requires actually, it's hard to do that in surveys. And I think that's from the safety colleagues I have, that's a struggle they are facing. What we do know is that perceptions of food safety change people's behavior if they're concerned about the safety of a food, they may not purchase it. So we don't have good tools to assess that. So we're developing a food safety perception scale, which would be a bit similar to the household food security scales we have. Basically assess to what extent are people concerned about the food safety of specific foods, and to what extent is that leading to altered behavior. And why are we worried? Because clearly safety, the big challenges with safety are
that we as nutritionists want to be looking for. Dairy products, animal source products, fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's under development, and I hope to have more by the end of the year.
Thank you. So I'd like to start the next round of questions. So please raise your hand. if you have a question. Yeah. Go ahead, and maybe you can some mic.
Okay, I hope this works. My name is Paul. I work for Speech. I'm an agricultural economist based in Harare. Very interesting presentations from all the presenters. I have a question to the first group on methods for impact assessment. I see that your focus is basically on other cities, which is good. But you know, other cities are not always feasible in all circumstances. I'm just wondering the extent to which you are open to further experimental design methods and especially taking advantage of the new developing methods around difference in difference, for example, double robust estimations that are also incorporating some machine learning algorithms. And then just a comment, I see that you have some forum assessments in Kenya. We do have something going on in Zambia, so we chat on that, some other cities as well. Otherwise, thanks very much.
Thank you. There was a question there.
Yeah, my name is Mercy Mwambi. I work for the World Vegetable Center, an agricultural economist based in Arusha. Mine is a follow-up question concerning RCTs. At least from our experience, we are realizing that it's becoming very tricky, more and more tricky to have a control group. One, because we have several organizations that are probably implementing or providing the same support as the one we want to provide. And number two, because the beneficiaries of people that you intend to put in the control group are becoming more and more aware of what it means to be in the control group, and sometimes they may be reluctant, especially if you are to do several follow-ups with the same group without any intervention for them. How are you handling this?
Thank you. Very clear question. Another question, yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Patrick. IITA. Yeah, my question is about your focus area. We have a very key issue that we are unable to address currently in terms of carbon credits and monitoring of carbon stocks, so that we can get programs mediated that process. So I don't know how far you are developing assessment methods and follow up carbon stocks and credits.
Yes, thank you. And then the last question for this round.
Hello, I'm Chelsea from Wolfish, and okay. So I work on the monitoring evaluation in Wolfish. So my question is more on the use of your great information on like after adoption, like the result on the nutrition, climate, and livelihood is limited. So how are those like the use of those very useful information? And what is your experience with that to facilitate use and thank you.
Okay, we can take one other question.
Thank you for the presentation. My concerning the last sense of like assessment for the diet. So you mentioned I saw that you speak, and I was wondering one of the things you considered was whether they were from forms that were insecure and it's been shown that a lot of people from insecure adolescents will skip there. And they also, when once there's a lot of them skipping, they also tend to take unhealthy, they snack on very unhealthy. So we try to that's a issue.
Thank you very much. It starts at the answering the question. So there were two questions from the university group. And so I can refer to. Sounds good. Yeah, I can get started. And if Marcel wants to add anything, that we can. So are we open to quasi-experimental methods as well? So in the meta-analysis where we're pooling data from coordinated trials, we would like for all studies to have the same randomized design, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult to pool the data and to use the same analysis methods. Now, having said that, we're also working on a systematic review. And in there, we're planning to bring in quasi-experimental studies that teams have already been working on. So that's, I think, an answer to your question. I'm happy to talk about the army work in Zambia. I also have a separate project in Zambia where this might actually be very relevant, so we can talk about challenges in identifying control groups in randomized trials. So one thing that I think is good to clarify is that oftentimes people say, oh, RCTs are really complicated and expensive, but in many situations, randomized trials can actually be sort of giving you best value for your money, because if you have a quasi-experimental evaluation, one, you have less rigor in how you have less rigor in the estimates and less credible. You need to do a lot of work to make the case for this really being the causal impact of an intervention. And also you need a much larger control group because you need to find the right controls for your treated observations. And so you need a much larger control sample in a way. And no matter which method you use to identify that control sample, because you don't just toss a coin and depending on that, treatment gets assigned. So I think that's good to point out there, because people often don't really seem to be aware of that point and think that quasi-experimental studies are a lot cheaper, which is not always the case. Now, on how you can deal with some of the specific challenges that you mentioned, for instance, other organizations working in a control group. If you do your randomization properly, and if you don't give a list of, hey, these are the villages where I'm already treating observations, then it's unlikely that other organizations would go disproportionately more to villages in your control group or to observations in your group. That's very unlikely to happen because they probably wouldn't go themselves village to village saying, hey, do you already have this intervention? Okay, no, if not, okay, then we'll do that here. Usually they'll have a similar approach of just saying, okay, let's work in this area, broadly speaking. And so as long as your exposure to other organizations doing something similar is the same between treatment and control, that's just noise that's happening in the background. So you do need a larger number of treatment clusters in order to account for that, and to still have statistical power to identify impacts. But it doesn't have to kill your design. So that's the good news there. In terms of control group awareness of, not being treated, this is really an important ethics consideration. So we always make sure that we have our research go through ethical review boards. We always make sure that at the time of the baseline survey or any follow-up survey, that also people in the control group get tangible benefits for participating in the research. And another thing that you could be considering is more A/B type testing, where you have interventions in both treatment and what you consider the control group, but that the treatment intensity or the sort of amount of benefits being provided in the control is just not as high, but then also people in the control benefit from being in the research. And then finally, it's really important to not have these studies go on potentially and to say, at some point, okay, let's give back to the community and phase in our control group into the treatment if we see that this intervention is being effective. Thank you. This is a great answer. And on the carbon credits, I don't know if you didn't say something. No. So sorry. So you have to keep that question in mind, and then sessions probably to find the answer. Then yes. And use of information. I think, yes.
Yeah, that's it, the key question, right? When we do research, whether it's impact evaluation or descriptive work, it's ultimately help. And I think the basic philosophy in CG centers is that we're not just doing research for the sake of getting paid at the end of the month and getting good CVs, and but we do research that is relevant and at the same time rigorous. So a few strategies that I have followed in my research is that you engage those you believe will benefit from the research from the very start. You kind of have conversations with policymakers, with stakeholders to make sure that the question you're trying to answer is a useful question, that you're conducting your study in the right place, that what you're testing as the intervention to the treatment is something that would ultimately be adopted by, it's not too expensive, that people find acceptable. And then at the back end, and all of that seems pretty logical, but I kind of think that very often that those basic steps are not done properly. And then throughout the research, I think is keeping everybody informed on how it's going, what you're finding, and then at the back end, engaging again with those same people is important. You don't want stakeholders to read the results in a journal for the first time. I mean, you need to sit down with them, present your results, and basically work through the interpretation and think together. You cannot, very often they kind of, you find surprising things and you don't know what's happening. They provide ideas for deeper analysis, which you kind of adopt. So that's how I've done it. And then finally, dissemination should be limited to just scientific products. You know, you tweets or X's, or I don't know what these things are called these days, but like blogs and simple 2 pages and visuals and videos. And I think all of that helps to kind of disseminate what the key findings are. But happy for others to chime in.
It's things, and we also have to remind ourselves changes. Just to show that the minimum mandatory diversity score that we worked on and started already to work on that. And now in 2025, it has been adopted as SDG indicator. So it's long stretch of work. Another example is just at the previous session where we linked our dietary intake into what is actually happening in the environment and how that's linked to the non-existence of the environment policies. And these kind of seminars we can also while from the beginning from all the partners, and we see change slowly, but how to measure that change is another issue. There was another question on the adolescent diets, skipping. That's a question that really much I don't know whether they looked at the relationship. It would be nice to look at it. From our surveys in adolescents in Bangladesh, we see that a lot of adolescents are also skipping meals because they are concerned about their body and they don't want to eat too much. And in Vietnam, we found that they skip breakfast because they do not have time to eat. They have to go to school very early, and they continue late at night and with their school. So there are many reasons. I think there's nowhere one reason. So you have to look at the context of different causalities that are driving food choices of the adolescents. Okay. Are there other questions? We still have a little bit of time. If there are no questions left, then I'd like to close the session. I would like to thank the presenters. It has been a very interesting session which showed different angles, impact assessments, looking at the designs, the importance of doing meta-analysis and harmonized designs over different countries. And of course, we talked about the challenges, but we also talked about the importance of having the indicators and having a good situation analysis before you can design actually a good randomized control trial. I would like to advertise for some science programs and presented. So reading for tomorrow. I don't know exactly when that will be. Friday. We have the science program on better diets and nutrition session Wednesday afternoon 4 to 6. And then the scaling for impact. I also don't know when that will be. That's Thursday morning. And please, if case spot on, please go to these science programs to know better about how this is embedded in a word that science programs. So thanks a lot for your attendance, also for those online. We'll meet again in other sessions.